basically, at the beginning of the research, we looked at what social media are important in the context of Fiji, and so we identified Facebook as being the most important social media in the country. That is why we decided to look at Facebook. In particular, you know, when we look at the most recent figures from Data Portal, which is an organization which maps social media globally, it is clear that around 570,000 people basically look at Facebook, and so in comparison, for example, with Instagram, it's about 140,000 people, and about less than 15,000 people are on Twitter. So clearly, this is why we decided to focus on Facebook. In terms of the monitoring periods, so we decided to research 3 different periods. So it was a period of a couple of months in 15 September and 14 November 2018. We also looked at 15 November, 13th of January 2019, and the last period was 15 October, 13 December 2020. Obviously, the idea was to look at the data retrospectively, particularly in a connection of the election, so a couple of months before the 2018 elections and after, and then just to have a comparison in 2020 and to see how the situation has evolved. We focused on 17 public pages of women politicians. We focused on 28 public pages of 24 men politicians. We just wanted to be able to have some kind of comparison, and so we decided to not only look at women politicians, but also we decided to look at men politicians. We also looked at a couple of pages of social media influencers, 1 public page of the media, and 6 public groups. Summary of our findings. So again, by comparison with their male colleagues, female politicians are treated in a less serious manner on Facebook, as comments to their posts touch upon their appearance and on personal qualities rather than commenting or analyzing their politics. So apart from the smear campaigning against women politicians, there were many stereotypical comments, such as, you know, how beautiful, how nice they are, and similar ones. 11% of the posts, as I already mentioned, were found problematic. And these all contained those 5 different criteria, being sexist, racist, threatening, politically victimizing, or personal abuse. 70% was identified within the comments by the general public rather than by politicians, the media, or the research influencers. Whenever there was a critical or favorable post about male politicians, the discussion, as I already mentioned, usually revolved around the party lines. And so it was basically the party line which was being used under fire. And by contrast, women were frequently targeted on a personal level, like in those mentioned cases, based on physical appearance. And again, as I said, the most prominent case was certainly the case of Miss Lenora. There was no problematic content identified in the posts of women politicians compared to 35 such problematic posts on their male counterparts. And overall, it was 4 times more problematic content related to Facebook pages of male politicians in comparison with their female counterparts. Therefore, interestingly, and I will conclude here, the men were more subjected to online violence than women. However, it is important to note that a great majority of the problematic comments towards women politicians are in the sexist category. And perhaps the very last conclusion, Facebook pages of male politicians produce the highest number of all identified problematic cases, with the problematic content identified either in the posts, in both posts and comments, or only within the comments. So 133 posts out of the total 285 posts. And on the other side, Facebook pages of female politicians produced 32 problematic posts, which was about 11%. But again, this was mainly applying in terms of the comments.